Hello everyone, I'm Yogesh Mishra. I'm a software engineer. If you are an Angular developer, this video is going to be a game changer for you because Angular 22 is here. And this is no ordinary minor update. The Angular team itself is calling this a consolidation release, meaning everything that's been experimental for the past 2 years has now become stable. Signal forms, Angular area, async APIs, all production ready. In this video, I'm not just going to give you a feature list, I'm going to show you 7 real production problems that you face every day and how Angular 22 solves them with full code. So let's get started. So these are the 7 production problems which are going to be solved in this Angular 22 solution. So these are the points that we will cover. There are 7 points. So Angular 22 was released on 3rd June 2026. There are two important things to understand. First, OnPush is now the default change detection strategy. This means new components will automatically be performance optimized without you needing to do anything extra. Second, TypeScript 6 is now required and Node 20 support sorry and Node 20 support has been dropped. You now need a minimum of Node 22. Both of these will affect your existing project, so listen carefully. I'll also cover the migration part at the end. So let's get straight into the real problem now. The first real world problem, it's very common. Imagine you have a big dashboard, 50-60 components, the user clicks anywhere and the whole screen lags a little. Why? Because by default Angular checks the entire component tree, even the components whose data hasn't changed at all. This is a default strategy. Everything gets rechecked in every change detection cycle. In large apps, this seriously hurts performance. And what's the solution in Angular 22? On push is now the default strategy. Let me repeat, on push is now the default strategy for new components, meaning you do not need to write it manually anymore. That's it. Now a component will only re-render when its input actually changes. The old default has been renamed to eager. So your old code will still run safely, but with new code you will get performance for free. And the real tip is, if you are working on a large enterprise app, this single change alone will drastically reduce your re-render count. Now let's talk about forms, a daily pain point for every developer. What do you have to do with traditional reactive forms? Inject form builder, create a form group, then manually subscribe to value changes. If you need to sync it with a signal, even for a simple email password login form, that's a lot of boilerplate. In Angular 22, signal forms is now fully stable, no experimental flag. You can use it in production. Look how clean this is. The form's structure and its validators are defined in one place, and it's fully typed and signal based. The submission API is also stable, so when submitting a form, loading and error states are all available directly through signals. Practical use case, um if you are building something like a login, sign up or checkout form that needs real time validation, signal forms will make your code 40%, 50% smaller and easier and maintained too. This is my favorite one because it solves a daily pain point. In the old way, if you needed to fetch a user profile from an API, what did you have to do? Call, subscribe, create a manual is loading flag, create an error flag, and don't forget to unsubscribe when the component is destroyed. For one simple API call, that's 15 to 20 lines of boilerplate, and it repeats everywhere. http resource is now stable and it gives you all of this for free. Look, user resource dot value, user resource is loading, user resource error. These are all reactive signals. When user ID changes, the resource automatically refetches. No need for manual subscription management at all. And the real use cases, product listing pages, user profiles, dashboards, where you have to repeatedly fetch data from an API. This pattern will eliminate 70% of your boilerplate there. A small but useful change in dependency injection. Until now, in every service, we used to write injectable provided in root, then this is repetitive, and the name injectable itself describes the mechanism, not the intent. In Angular 22, the service decorator has become stable. You get the same tree shakeable root level singleton. It's a root level singleton instance, but the code is cleaner and more readable. When you see at the red service above order service, you immediately understand this is a service class. It's a small change, but it improves readability in large code bases. The fifth use case, this use case is tied to bundle size and performance. Imagine you have a checkout page and it uses a heavy PDF invoice generation library. The problem is that this library gets loaded in the initial bundle itself, even for the 90% of users who never actually download an invoice. Inject Async is exactly built for this. Here, the service only loads when the user actually clicks the download invoice button, but uh, the bundler automatically splits it into separate chunk. How there's a real impact? Your initial page load bundle size stays small, first load is fast, and heavy dependencies load only when genuinely needed. The sixth use case is incremental hydration. If you use SSR, server side rendering, the segment is for you. What's the problem? The page ships fast from the server. The HTML is already built by the time it arrives. But when JavaScript loads on the client, the entire app hydrates all at once, meaning the page looks ready. But for a moment, it feels frozen because everything takes time to become interactive. In Angular 22, incremental hydration is on by default. This means only that block will hydrate when it actually comes into viewport. When it actually comes into viewport, that's a moment when the block will hydrate, or the user interacts with it, or the browser is idle. The whole app doesn't load at once. It happens piece by piece only when needed. The real use case for this is like the news websites, blogs, e-commerce product pages where there is a comment section or related product section below. It won't hydrate until the user scrolls down to reach it. The page feels fast and unresponsive, and the page feels fast and responsive. Last practical use case, accessibility. If you have ever built a custom drop down or a combo box from scratch, you will know manually wiring ARIA attributes, handling keyboard navigation, implementing focus trap. It's very easy to get these wrong and hard to test. It gives you ready-made accessible primitives, and it also works seamlessly with signal forms. And the real use case for this is enterprise applications where accessibility compliance is mandatory. If you have heard about the HIPAA compliance for US based healthcare applications, similarly, they are compliance for accessibility. WCAG standards, this package saves you a lot of custom works there. So now a bit of practical advice. If you're planning to upgrade, keep four things in mind. One, TypeScript 6 is required. Version 5.9 and below are no longer supported. Node 22 is the minimum required. Node 20 support has been dropped. Third point is when you run ng update, it will automatically tag your existing components as eager, so their behavior doesn't silently change. And the fourth point is if you have deeply nested routes, params inheritance strategy is now always by default. So review your route params access logic once. Check these four things before upgrading. You will have a smooth migration. Recap. Let's quickly recap what we can use stably today. On push by default, signal forms, resource and http resource, Angular aria service, decorator and inject async. All of these are production ready and use them right now. Some things are still experimental, like debounce signal utility, web which lets AI agents interact with your Angular app, and uh, boundary error boundaries, add that boundary decorator function for error boundaries. Keep watching these, but don't take the risk in production yet. So, folks, that was a complete practical breakdown of Angular 22, 7 real problems, real solutions, real code signals are now stable. The defaults have changed, meaning now is the time to modernize your apps. If you find the video helpful, like it, share it with your developer friends, and subscribe to the channel because deep dive videos like this will keep coming every week. I'm Yogesh Mishra. See you in the next video. Thank you.